How would Darcelle feel about being inducted into the Oregon Music Hall of Fame?
Well, he would be, first of all, very surprised, very, very excited, and it would just be, for him, it would be a great honor. He would be overwhelmed with his heart would be big because he'd be thinking about what an honor this is.
Why would he be surprised?
Well, I mean that only in a good way. He'd be surprised because this isn't something that he would have even thought of. I mean, it's not like he's, recording artist or in a band or anything like that. So I think he would be very surprised, but in a good way.
You obviously knew him very well as his daughter. And when you look back on all of it, what stands out for you?
Creativity is huge. He was always creative. Even when we were children, he'd be the fun dad that would, like at Halloween parties, he'd be the one that would be the hold the seance, or do the games where you have to put your hands into something and it's brains, which is spaghetti. I mean, he was always a fun guy. He was also my mom's helper. He was a Girl Scout leader. A lot of people don't know that, but just so creative, so loving, oh boy. Dedicated, hardworking man, dedicated to his family. Yeah, that's what sticks out.
So when you think about the arc of his activism, which I think it's fair to say,
yes,
it was an unusual way to be an activist. Would you agree with that?
Well, what I think is that he used his alter ego of Darcelle, first of all, to grab everyone's attention. All he had to do is just show up in drag, and everybody just went crazy. He used it in his advantage to help people and to help communities with, like the Cascade AIDS Project. He knew he wanted to do something more than just perform, but to get out there and help others as well.
Career highlights of his that you can look back on.
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I know what his favorite things were. When he was dubbed or initiated, however you want to say it, as a Royal Rosarian for the Rose Festival. That was probably at the time his most treasured honor, because he loved city of Portland. He loved Portland. It was his city. So that was a big one that comes to mind. I don't think it got better than that for him.
Back to this would maybe be a close second, do you think?
Oh, very, very much so, yes. Yes. Because sometimes things that surprise you, that you don't expect to happen, are the most dear to your heart. And I think that's how he would feel about this.
So, as his daughter,
yes,
tell me how watching all of this made you feel. Big personality we're talking about, right? So, you were around for all of it, or most of it, right?
Most of it.
And so, looking at it from that lens, what kind of feelings do you have?
The first feeling that I have is sadness. And let me explain why. It was difficult when he was transitioning away from our family. That was heartbreaking. I didn't understand, didn't know what was happening. They didn't explain anything to us. They sheltered us. So that was, the first thing comes to mind is sadness. And that went on for many years. And then when I didn't really see him a lot, after he had, come out and has the club and with his partner Roxy. I didn't really see him, and we reunited in 1976. My mom and I were at Saturday Market, and lo and behold, there was my dad and Rock. And from that minute, it was like no time had passed, and it was just, we became a family again, including Rock. We just became a happy family at that point. My mom and Rock got along so well, and my mom is just the dearest, kindest person, and she was not one to hold grudges. She loved my dad unconditionally, and he loved her unconditionally. So we traveled together, we went on vacations together, we went to Europe, we drive to Vegas. We did a lot as a family, and I thought it was very healthy at the time, because I got to spend time with my dad. I'm smiling now, because from 1976 till he passed, things were completely different, and I got to see him as much as I wanted to, and it was wonderful. So yeah, it's just those days in late grade school, high school, they basically were just protecting my brother and I from, it was the times, protecting us from, children, other kids, maybe bullying us over it, or, and not only that, we didn't understand what it was either. I didn't know what a gay person was in those days. Things were so different. So, I'm just grateful to have him in my life as many years as I did. One of the things towards the end of his life, I began to tell him how proud and so much I loved him and how proud I was of him. Because there was a little period of time where, even again, the way the times wasn't something I went around and told my friends. It wasn't anything I told my coworkers. No, but people were very surprised later in life that, that he's my dad. They'd say, well, you never told me. I said, well, in those days I wouldn't tell you. That's just the way things were. And so, and it wasn't that I was ashamed of him. It was just the times. But deep down, sometimes I would be upset thinking that maybe I was ashamed of him. But then I would think, well, it was the times. Every time I'd go back to, okay, it was the times. And so I never missed a moment to tell him how proud and how wonderful and how creative and talented he was.
Isn't that awesome? And it's awesome to think that he was a factor in changing the perspective that was archaic.
Well, and I'm talking about times where I'm talking the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay. Stonewall hadn't even happened yet when he opened his bar. Okay. There was so much prejudice and so much going on, and yet he attracted every walk of life in his bar. He attracted gay couples, straight couples, little grandmas that came to have a night out. I'm serious. Who does that? Who's able to find that niche and have it not just be a gay bar? It's never been a gay bar. It's always been a show place, a cabaret, a place where people can feel safe and happy, and no matter who you are. So that's amazing to me.
It's a beautiful legacy.
Amazing to me.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
We're just very grateful, our family, for this honor of this induction for him and for our family.